Okay folks, this will be an interesting one. Let's see how we can make this one come up a treat. I hope it will. I've got to look at the enlargement when I put it up there, put it on the glass. I don't know how big it's going to be. Okay, let's see what this is. It is a Rolling Stone magazine, otherwise called to me by RS magazine, Rolling Stone. And I've got this lovely picture of this girl, lady. We're interested in just this section here, cut it off. Yeah, like the hair. Okay, let's just put this on the glass like so. It's going to be a funny size. It's like bigger than A4 on the vertical and A4 exactly on the horizontal, which I wasn't expecting. So I do think we might have to reduce it slightly. I do think we're going to reduce it slightly. Make it 90, see how we go. It's a bit hanging over the edge, sorry folks. Yeah, that's come up looking, the colour in that looks really quite nice, except it looks a bit badly defined, like it's all red. It's a bit too much red. I do think maybe I could frame the face a bit better, even though it's going to look bloody stretched. I think we've got too much red in this. Or maybe the pink isn't a suitable colour. We're going to leave it on that. So we're just going to maybe take out some of that red. Or heaps of it. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Oh shit, look at that. That's the, there's the toner that's just come off the fuser roller, I think. I'm not sure, I don't know what's made a mess of the image. I actually think I might use that and make that into an asset rather than a negative, even though it's normally an ugly sort of a thing that happens sometimes when I use I'll show you what seems to happen. It's like, let's see how we go here. It's like when I use the brightness control on dark, it's brightness, for some reason it does that, it mucks up, just does that. I don't know why. I'm going to just change this around because we're going to just use that as a master copy. And we're going to now maybe we're going to enlarge this vertically so now, because we're going to make this into something that's more of an asset, like a happy accident, a happy fault, or a problem that's something good. That's one of the things one of the reasons I wanted to become a photocopier technician was so I could make faults happen on demand. I'm not going to do it this way. I'm going to do it this way. So I could make faults happen on demand, because when you're a technician, you can learn heaps about how the machines work really intimately, beyond just the user interface. You could go to the hardware and fuck with the hardware and create problems with the software and make it into something really, really, really interesting. And that was one of the intriguing things I found about wanting to be a technician. Unfortunately, I'm disabled. I had a cord around my neck and a came-out breech, and I can't learn things I can't absorb information and retain it, and basically that prevents me from being able to do that sort of work very efficiently. And that's come up looking quite nice, actually, even though I wasn't going to leave the negative positive in play, though. I do wonder. I do find that doesn't look all that good, even though it gives it some kind of character. Yeah, I was hoping that would look really nice, but it doesn't look as nice. I was actually looking at this version here, and that version's got a little bit of it as well, but not as well defined. I'm just going to decide which one I'm going to work with. I'm going to work with this one. I'm going to take this one off, and because I do like the negative positive, the way it's been set. I'm just going to utilise this one. But that would have looked better in that setting. But basically I wanted to be a photocopier technician so I could alter the inner workings of the equipment, or interfere perhaps with the software of the equipment as well. So I'm really creative with photocopiers, and it's just sad that my disability has prevented me from being able to do this kind of work. I have to work in what essentially is a sheltered workshop. Unfortunately, I had to swallow my pride because I need money to keep this TV campaign alive, and I'm not one of these artists who's made it rich, who's cracked it rich in the big time. And I'm trying to focus on what I can do and not what I can't do. So I'm trying to focus on my ability rather than my disability. And I also believe I have high-functioning autism, which gives me the focus. I see the high-functioning autism as more of an asset than a problem. But I find the intellectual disability, that's a real nuisance. And that's come up looking really quite nice. The colour in that looks very pastelish and pretty. I think it's too big, though. I do think I might have to maybe enlarge. I don't know, folks. I don't know how I'm going to make this image look. But basically, I find that speaking of the disabilities that I'm mentioning, I find that I haven't been diagnosed for the high-functioning autism or the intellectual disability. Basically, I've just put two and two together, but I've got another disability that I don't want to mention because it contains a stigmatic sort of reputation to it, and that's what's given me my social security payment. And basically I'm really ashamed of it because it's got a stigma attached, and people don't take people like that seriously. But I do have the other ones, and you could say in the future it's a case of, at this stage, it's diagnosis pending, but I can't afford the money I need to get a diagnosis for high-functioning autism. So that's a real problem. And fortunately, the unspeakable disability has given me the Centrelink payment of the disability support pension, and that keeps me going, that keeps me off the street, as does my social housing. And the ADE job, Australian Disability Enterprise job, well, that gives me extra money to work with, even though it's really low paid, and I'm not a very fast or efficient worker. I'm very slow and I make lots of mistakes. there is another disability I have. It's called an alternating squint, and that's to do with your eyes. And I had that diagnosed by an optometrist, and I can't use a computer very well, even though that wasn't there neither did that give me my Centrelink benefit. I only had that diagnosed a few years ago, but I want to get the high functioning autism and the intellectual disability eventually diagnosed when I get some money, when I get in touch with my partner Luigi. I'm going to get tested and assessed and I really want to find out, because knowledge is power, folks. If I had had the diagnosis back in my high school days, the teachers would not have been so hard on me, and maybe my family would have left me alone as well. But not having a diagnosis has made life very, very, very difficult, and I really struggled at school with both with the studies and the social. I used to get bullied heavily at school. I never could enjoy myself and be peaceful, because the bitches were pretty well always at me, and that's come up looking quite a treat. I do wonder if maybe I should do some switcheroos. I do wonder which way I'm going to do it, folks. But it's really difficult when you don't have a diagnosis and you're carrying what feels like the world on your shoulders. You know, you feel like you have to do well at school, and you got to fucking please your fucking parents, you got to please your fucking sibling, you got to fucking please the teachers, and you got to fucking somehow appease the assholes at school that fucking won't leave you alone. Bitches. I'll fucking kick the fucking shit out of them if I could. Fuck, I hate them, folks. They fucked me up. They fucked up my life, those bitches, and that's why I'm not with Luigi, is partly because of them and some people from church who are fuckwits. And that's come up looking really quite nice. I do wonder if we're going to call it quits, or if we're going to go any further with making another version of this switcheroo. So we're going to do another switch. But yeah, it's really hard to deal with cruel people at school, and you can't always, you can't get away from them. It's a problem. They're everywhere. I really had a hard time, folks. Unfortunately, back in those days, high-functioning autism did not exist as a diagnosis. But if they had diagnosed me with the intellectual disability, things could have still been a lot easier in the academic department. Even if the social department was still somewhat deficient. I'm going to try one more. It's probably not going to look that nice, this version, but I could be wrong. Sorry, folks, I'm just trying to fuck it up. So yeah, I wish I went to special school when I was in primary school, because a bully picked on me and decided to pick a fight with me, and I defended myself, and I defended myself too viciously. I ended up scratching him and making him bleed, and I ended up in the school called Arndell, which funnily enough is just metres away from where I live, where I work, should I say, not live. And basically, yeah, I got there and they still didn't diagnose me with anything. They just said I had a bad attitude to learning, troublemaker in so many words. And yeah, that's kind of looking nice as well. I think we covered it all. I think we can now call this demo quits.